Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 6, Episode 8. Let me just say, guys, Robyn got on my last good nerve from beginning to end. For Robyn to act like she's just so hurt by Wendy, girl, give me a break. I was just so over it. So without further ado, let's just jump right into this recap because we don't have a minute to spare. We start off the episode and it is the aftermath of the big blow up. Wendy has left. She's, I think, in the bathroom. We see Askala, Mia, Karen, everybody else on the couches, and they're all like, Lord have mercy, what just happened? Giselle sitting there talking about she needs a piece of food, and we see Miss Robyn cackling to herself talking about the delusions have set in. I said, baby, you are one of the most delusional people on this cast, but I digress. So the food arrives, Giselle goes to grab it, everybody else goes in to follow her and make their plates, and Robyn is still on the couch, and she's talking to herself and laughing. It was like, girl, you just can't help yourself. Like, Robyn really can't help but to be the lame person that she truly is. Like, just go in and get your food. What are you sitting there trying to have a moment and be dramatic talking to yourself for? Like, that was just so stupid. So Giselle comes back in to join Robyn with her plate of food, and Robyn goes on to ask Giselle if they're mad at Ashley. She says Ashley came, dropped all this drama, and then just left. Like, are we mad? And so Giselle's like, no, we're not mad at Ashley. Ashley's fine. And I was just confused as to why Robyn, who is a grown woman, I think she's what, 43, 44 years old? Why do you have to ask another woman if you guys are mad at somebody? I just don't understand why Robyn acts like her and Giselle share a brain. Y'all are not attached at the hip. I don't know why you need to ask Giselle's permission to be upset with Ashley. So if Giselle said, we are going to be mad at Ashley, then you would have been mad at Ashley. Is that how that works? You pick and choose who you're upset with or happy with based on how Giselle feels about that person. Got it. So we see Wendy making a stink about not wanting to sit next to Giselle's bitch ass. And I said, now, Wendy, you did all that to end up sitting right in the same room with everybody else. I was cracking up. I said, if it were me, I would have been true to how I felt and I would have sat in the kitchen or another room. Because best believe if I don't like somebody, I don't want to see them, especially while I'm eating. But anyhow, they're all sitting down to eat and the dinner is just really tense and it's super quiet. So now Karen announces that her, Wendy, and Askala are going to head back to the cottage. So she's just like, it's been fun, it's been real, but we're going to go back, and is it okay if we take some food back with us? They're all like, sure, that's fine. And Wendy had me cracking up because she was packing her little doggy bag and she said, oh, I'm definitely taking food back because I'm getting double for my trouble. I said, I know that's right. Listen, quiet as it's kept, when it comes to me and Chinese food, I would have probably taken everything back to the cottage with me, okay? And I was also cracking up because as they were leaving, Karen accidentally closed the door in Askala's face. I was like, why do they keep doing that? They keep forgetting about my girl Askala. But anyhow, they're on their way back to the cottage, and now we see Giselle, Robyn, Candiace, and Mia discussing what just went down. We hear Robyn talking about it's supposed to be a fun girls trip, and everybody's sitting here cursing each other out. I was like, girl, shut up. Y'all deserve to be cursed out because the way that you and Giselle have continued to pick at that woman, I mean, y'all spent dinner and lunch talking about how she's changed, about how she's just parading her breasts around. So y'all really did deserve that curse out that Wendy gave y'all. So anyhow, Candiace goes on to say that Wendy is really sensitive and she wears everything on her face. So Giselle's like, well, that's not my interpretation of Wendy. So Candiace goes on to say that she's really emotional when it comes to Eddie and how Eddie is her trigger and how everybody handles critique differently. So Giselle goes on to fix her lips and say, well, she might be in the wrong group then, because it's like you're gonna crumble every single time. And herein lies the issue that I will always have with Giselle. Giselle can never extend any empathy to anybody. I don't understand how you can't get it through your pea brain that your friend's feelings are hurt because you're sitting up here spreading these rumors about her husband possibly cheating and having a side baby. Who wants to hear that? And then to do that on a vacation, and the fact that you weren't even woman enough to tell her, you have somebody else tell her who's not even that close to her. You were dead wrong getting Ashley to tell her this news. Period, point blank, Giselle. I don't understand why it's so hard for you to take accountability and just apologize. She does it each and every time. It's just so annoying. So now Robyn goes on to say how she's beyond disappointed in Wendy, and it really opened up her eyes as to how Wendy always has felt about her. She goes on to further say that Wendy's been always turning her nose up at her and Juan's relationship. I said, no, Robyn, why are you so pressed about what Wendy said about your relationship? You were just saying in last week's episode how you don't care what the blogs say, you don't care what people think about you and Juan, and it just rolls off your back. And Robyn, for you to act like what Wendy did was so uncalled for, if I remember it correctly, in season 2, I think it was, when you and Giselle rolled up on Ashley at her then restaurant, and you threatened her with bodily harm and told her to stop running her mouth about you and Juan's relationship. Did you not? I remember that clearly. And that's what I always say about this franchise. They really suffer from a case of revisionist history and amnesia. How quickly Robyn forgets about how she's acted in the past about people speaking on her and Juan's relationship. So while they're talking about the whole situation, we now see a parallel scene with Escala, Karen, and Wendy in the cottage. Escala asks Wendy how she's doing, and Wendy's like, you know what? I don't even want to talk about it right now. So Karen chimes in and says that Giselle likes to screw people up the butt without their permission. She likes to get into your business, and then it's how dare you ask her questions about hers. And that's very true, because we saw it at the table when Escala asked Giselle about her relationship with Jamal Bryant, and she said that she didn't want to answer, despite the fact that she was questioning everybody else all night about their lives and their relationships. We see the double standards all the time. So anyhow, Wendy starts crying, and she's like, why would you say that about Eddie? I mean, he's such a good man. He's a good father. He's a good husband. He's a good friend. Like, I just can't believe it. And so she's crying, and I felt really bad to see Wendy crying like that. You could tell that she was just really hurt, and you could tell that she also felt blindsided, because nobody goes on a trip to have their time ruined about hearing some awful rumors about their husband possibly cheating and having a side baby. Like, that would hurt anybody. So now Wendy brings up how Robyn is a different person when she's with Giselle. Escala jumps in, and she agrees with Wendy as well. She goes on to say that while Robyn is her friend, she notices that Robyn and Giselle have this crazy amount of loyalty for each other. And not only that, but it seems like Robyn defends everything that Giselle does, and that's crazy to her. I said, I'll bet y'all $5 that Escala and Robyn probably fall out, because I know that when Robyn saw the episode back, she was probably upset seeing Escala piggyback and agree with what Wendy was saying about her and Giselle just having this loyalty to each other, not calling each other out on their BS. I said, I will not be surprised if that friendship goes to the wayside. So now we flip back to the ladies in the main house, and Giselle brings up how funny she thought it was when Robyn started imitating and mocking Wendy and then patting her puss at the same time. So they're laughing about that. She's imitating Robyn. Robyn's laughing. I said there was nothing funny about that. Robyn looked like she was 10 years old doing that. And that's the true sign that you're losing an argument, when you have to sit up there and mock and imitate the other person. And as emotionally stunted as Giselle is, I'm not surprised that she found that to be funny at all, because she too has the mind of an 8th grader. So the conversation comes to a close. Giselle gets up and says that she's tired and she's about to call it a night because she likes to go to bed early. So while she's lingering there, she's pretty much waiting for Robyn to join her and get up too. I was just like, Robyn can't stay and chat with Candiace and Mia if she wants to because you want to go to bed. Robyn has to go to bed the same time that you do. It's just so crazy to me how they both act like they're attached at the hip. I would have been like, okay, girl, good night. Have a good rest. I'll see you in the morning. And to be honest with you, the way Robyn and Giselle act, I would have put them in one room to share and then given a Scholar or Wendy one of the rooms in the main house. So now we flip back to the cottage. Wendy's in bed. She FaceTimes her husband, Eddie. Eddie goes on to ask her how the trip's going, and she's like, babe, I have some stuff to tell you, not right now, but I will tell you when I get home. Right now, I just don't have the mental or the physical capacity to tell you what just happened. So he's like, oh man, like some stuff went down, but okay, tell me about it when you're ready. I personally feel like Wendy just did not want to have that conversation with her husband on the camera. So it's the next day, everybody's getting ready, and we see a short scene of Karen FaceTiming Candiace. Karen's asking Candiace if she could get her makeup done at the main house instead of the cottage. Candiace says, yeah, that's fine, that's cool, no problem. Karen's super excited, and remember that it's the day of her being sworn in as ambassador for Surrey County. Now, I said, Candiace, you're a lot nicer than I am, because had Karen asked me if she could get made up in the main house, I would have said no, because not only are we not really friends anymore, the way you did me last season and tried to get me fired off of the show, and the way that you didn't even invite me to you being sworn in, I would have said, oh no, girl, have your makeup artist stay and meet you at the cottage. You're not getting your makeup done here. Okay? I would have been real petty with it. Real petty. So Karen and Escala head on to the main house, and Wendy is still in the cottage because she has to do a TV segment, so she'll meet them later on when she's done. So they get there, Mia opens the door for them, Giselle's still in the pool doing her pool exercises, Karen's makeup artist arrives to the main house, and they go upstairs to get ready, and Escala joins Giselle out by the pool. Giselle starts asking Escala how Wendy's doing, and Escala's like, yeah, she seems better, a lot calmer than she was last night, but y'all two need to have a discussion ASAP. Escala then goes on to remind Giselle that she started the entire thing. Giselle says, I didn't start anything. That was Ashley who started this whole thing. Like, I'm getting all the blame for it. Sis, I'm gonna need you, like I said earlier, to take accountability for your actions. You were the one who should have had this conversation with Wendy, period, point blank. There's no discussion about it. You were wrong to put Ashley up to the challenge of relaying this news to Wendy. Her and Wendy do not have that sort of rapport, friendship, or relationship for Ashley to be sitting up there relaying that kind of news to her. So, of course, because Ashley's name has been mentioned, now Bravo feels like we have to see a scene with her and Michael. And I can't stand them, so we will be moving right on along. So now we see Robyn and Mia come out to join Escala and Giselle at the pool. Escala says to Robyn, you sure do come to your girl's defense. Giselle interjects and says, I know I'm messy and shady, and actually, Robyn and I don't see eye to eye on stuff all the time, and Robyn calls me out on it. I said, sure, Jan. The only time that Robyn has ever called Giselle out was in season 4, and it was at her open house, and Giselle was trying to pick a fight with one of the ladies, or should I say one of the former castmates who got fired for assaulting Candiace. I refuse to say her name, but I digress. That was the only time that Robyn called Giselle out on something because it had something to do with her coins. But other than that, I have yet to see Robyn call Giselle out on anything. If I am missing another incident where Robyn did call Giselle out on something, please let me know down in the comments. But that's the only time that I can remember where Robyn was upset with Giselle and actually called her out on camera. So I just don't understand why they're both trying to act as if Robyn's not up Gizelle's behind, because she is. So now Robyn pipes up and says, I know that gossip hurts, but I don't care. You are pressed and bothered every time somebody mentions the fact that Juan probably is not going to marry you. And for you to keep bringing up the whole engagement party and how Wendy was so excited for her in last season, like, what does that have to do with anything? Of course she was excited for you then because y'all were cool and on good terms then. So while they're talking, Wendy saunters in and she ignores Gizelle and Robyn. And Gizelle has that silly smirk on her face and she's like, hi, Wendy, good to see you. I hope that we can talk, just you and I, when you want to talk. And when I tell you that Wendy was giving Gizelle her entire ass to kiss, like she was not here for it at all. So she's pretty much, turning to the side away from Gizelle. She's not looking at Gizelle. And Gizelle's like, I want to talk to you, Wendy, and not your braids. So now we see Gizelle in her confessional saying that Wendy's acting like she's in high school. I said, huh? Come again? The lack of self-awareness. I mean, girl, you are the wrong person to talk about anybody still being in high school. I just think it's so funny how Gizelle can't seem to see herself. It's weird. The conversation changes and Gizelle brings up how they're going to be playing tennis later on in the day and she invites Escala to join them. Escala says sure, and then Gizelle points out how Mia has a tattoo. So Mia starts talking about her tattoo and then she brings up how she had a C-section. And she goes on to talk about how it was really traumatic and how I think it was her youngest son, his umbilical cord was like wrapped around his neck. And it was so traumatizing for her husband, Gordon, that he went to the bar next door and then went home to get his PlayStation because it was too stressful for him. I said, men are something else. So now Robyn interjects with a story of her own. So she goes on to say how Juan missed the birth of their second son, Carter, and how their relationship was real effed up at the time. Then she goes on to say how if they do have a third child, that will be Juan's way of redeeming himself. I said, Robyn, you really are just as stupid as they come. Because there is no way that I would try to be getting back together with a man who's not only cheated on me several times, but a man who missed the birth of one of our babies. I don't think so. That is absolutely unacceptable to me, and I just don't understand how Robyn has the desire to make it work with him a second time. I've just always felt like their dynamic is off and very uneven. I have always felt like she's just madly in love with him and he could take her or leave her. So Candiace comes out to join them and she's like, hey ladies, as y'all know, I'm shooting my music video soon and I'm gonna need some extras. So she's like, if y'all can hit an 8 count, you can be in the video. Candiace plays the song for them to listen to. And then in her confessional, we see her saying that the song is about driving back home to her husband. And can I just say that Candiace's confessional shade is just too funny. She was like, Robyn's driven back to Juan, Gizelle has driven back, and Ashley, she's in permanent reverse. We all know that Ashley is not leaving Michael. All right, she is there to squeeze out every single penny that he has for herself, her boys, and Sheila. So all the ladies start practicing some choreo. Robyn says that she's dabbled in video honest before because she was in Diddy's Bad Boy for Life video. I said, all those color-struck rappers who were in that video, I'm surprised you didn't end up with one of them. But I digress. So now it's Gizelle, Robyn, and Mia as one group, and they do some little choreo together. I said, y'all cannot dance. Like, what's going on? Like, why can't y'all dance? Wendy and Escala go up to audition, and I said, now girls, y'all know I love you guys, but what was that? Candiace is not here for Wendy's non-existent dance moves because she's like, where was the swinging around the pole, Wendy, on the bus? Like, girl, what's going on? And I said, now Candiace, we all saw that performance on the bus, and no ma'am. Like she can't seem to find the beat or the rhythm. Karen gives the girls a cute little solo audition, and out of all of them, Karen danced the best. So Karen is announced the winner. Giselle throws some shade about how she's gonna hire Ray a stripper because Karen can't dance. Giselle, stop worrying about Karen's dance moves and worry about your lack of ability, okay? Because what you were doing out there with Robyn and Mia, y'all all look stupid. Now we move on to a short scene with Escala, Candiace, Robyn, and Giselle playing tennis. And the way I was disappointed in all of them on that court, especially disappointed in Candiace, I said, baby, I need you to get some lessons ASAP. And yes, I can talk the mess that I talk. Come see about the doll on the tennis court, okay? I promise you. I got skills that'll pay the bills. But the four of them, I said, no ma'am. I said, y'all making the Jack and Jill set look awful with y'all's lack of skills. I'm just saying. But Candiace was definitely the worst on that court. I said, oh my gosh. I would have been like, Candiace, get off this court because I'll just play the both of them by myself because, girl, I'm not going to sit up here and lose because you don't even know how to serve. She couldn't do anything. She could barely hit the ball. I said, no, come on, girl. The tennis scene reminded me of one of the episodes of Beverly Hills this season when Erica Jane and Crystal went playing tennis at Kathy Hilton's house. And Erica couldn't play at all. And I said, now sis, you were a rich man's wife for almost 30 years, and you're telling me that you didn't take the time out to learn how to play tennis? Huh? Come again? Shameful. Now we move on to the next scene with Karen, Mia, and Wendy. They arrive in Surrey. Karen is really excited to be sworn in as ambassador. Ray's there, her sister's there, her aunts and uncles are there, and one of her cousins is there, and she's super excited. The ceremony starts. Karen is officially sworn in as ambassador of Surrey, and then she receives the key to the city. Karen reads her speech, and in her confessional, she says that the moment is bittersweet because she wishes that her parents were here to witness the moment, but she says that she's going to make them proud and she's not going to let them down. Ray gets up to speak, and the way I had secondhand embarrassment because Ray was doing the most in my opinion. He was so eager for Karen to share how she was expanding her La Dame collection. And so he's like, tell him, baby, tell him. So Karen says, well, I'd like to announce that I'm expanding my La Dame collection. It's now going to include candles. And I said, oh my gosh. So Wendy says, when I came to Karen for advice a few weeks ago, she didn't mention her starting a candle line herself. Karen says in her confessional that what her and Wendy have going on is a little bit different. Her candle is going to be a 3-wick candle, while Wendy's candle is a 1-wick candle.
You know what? It's too much.
I said, oh my gosh, the shade of it all. I'm not trying to say that Karen is a copycat, but I'm just saying sometimes it's best to keep your ideas to yourself, okay? Keep it close to the vest. That reminded me of Lisa Wu and Sheree Whitfield both coming out with their clothing lines in season 2 and how they were getting competitive with each other and shading each other's lines. I said, a mess. So now we're back on the tennis court with Candiace, Giselle, Robyn, and Escala. They all bring up the drama within the group. Candiace says to Robyn, you seem to have an association beef. And Robyn's like, no, I don't. I'm angry at what Wendy said about me. And I know who's not going to be invited to my bridal shower and my wedding. And it was like, girl, you really think that somebody's pressed about a non-existent wedding and bridal shower? Okay. You're just salty that Wendy went in on you because you know that you were dead wrong along with your good friend and Ashley. Y'all should not have been sitting up there talking about how she's changed, trying to make her feel bad about her body, and then going on about these rumors about her husband. Like, just save it. Y'all started some mess. Wendy fired back at y'all, and now y'all are upset and you can't take it, and now you can't stand her. It's just so funny to me that Robyn can't seem to get over Wendy lashing out on her, but she's really good friends with Ashley now. And it's like, wow, Robyn, Ashley's the same person who was spreading around that you and Juan only had $25 in your bank account in season 1. And she was meddling in what was going on in your relationship. And it's funny how Miss Darby gets a pass and will be invited to your wedding and bridal shower, but Wendy won't be. Because what Wendy did was just so wrong. But not all the chaos and havoc that Ashley has done to you and other people throughout all the seasons. Got it. So now we see Karen, Wendy, and Mia leaving Surrey, and they're back on their way to Williamsburg to meet the other ladies for dinner. It was so funny when they stopped at 7-Eleven. I said, listen, I will never be too good for a cherry slushie from 7-Eleven and a bag of Cheetos. And Mia asks Wendy and Karen if they anticipate dealing with any riffraff tonight at dinner. So they're like, no, I think it should be fine. Mia goes on to lie and says, well, when you guys left, Giselle was like, if you're gonna be a weak bitch, then you shouldn't be in the group. And so they're like, wait, what? And Wendy says, she called me a weak bitch? And Mia's like, yup, she sure did. Yeah, I don't know what your issue is, but this lying has got to stop. And you're not even stretching the truth or exaggerating. You are out and out lying. I don't like Giselle, but I'm not gonna sit up here and act like she called somebody a bitch when she didn't. Those words never came out of her mouth. And I see you on Twitter trying to be sarcastic and trying to justify your lies by saying that, well, you're making the show pop and it's for entertainment purposes. The show can still be entertaining without you just out and out lying. And please don't get it twisted that you came on this show and made it pop. The show was popping before you even got on the scene, sis. So let's not. And honestly, like I said in the last recap, I don't need to see Mia for the next season. She can easily be a one and done. I'm not feeling her. I was trying to give her the benefit of the doubt when she came on, but I just don't like her. Her personality is off-putting. She's a liar. She's messy, and she's a flip-flopper. She's trying to align herself with who she thinks is the most popular of this cast. Just stop trying to do the most. It's not a cute look. And you look very desperate when you try so hard. You don't need to do all of that, okay? Just rest. So now we see all the ladies getting ready for dinner. When I tell you Ascala killed it, that red dress, baby, yes. Ascala is the best dressed on this franchise. I thought Wendy looked great in the green dress. I thought Karen looked nice as well. Giselle, I don't know what the F you were wearing. In the words of Dwight from Real Housewives of Atlanta, how dreadful. So Karen, Wendy, and Ascala are on their way to the main house, and we see Mia telling Candiace, Giselle, and Robyn about how she had a nice time in Surrey County and how she connected with Wendy. So they're listening to Mia, and so Giselle interjects and says, well, maybe when Wendy grows up, then maybe we can have an adult conversation. Girl, you're the one who had Ashley do your dirty work. So miss me with the Wendy needs to grow up. No, you need to grow up. So as they're talking, Wendy, Karen, and Ascala come into the main house, and the dinner is ready. And when I tell you that dinner looked amazing. They had lobster tail, some shrimp, some salmon. I said, everything that I love. Everything that I love. Candiace gives a toast and she's like, it's our last night in Williamsburg. Here's to friendship and forgiveness. Wendy's like,
boo, this toast sucks.
Everybody starts eating, and then all of a sudden, Robyn's phone is ringing, and it's Juan. Robyn tries to be funny, and she picks up the phone and is like, hi, my non-existent partner. How are you with our non-existent relationship? How's everything going? You can hear the aggravation in Juan's voice. He's like, girl, stop playing. Like, what's this all about? So she keeps going and going, And he's like, you know what, Robyn, I'll call you later. Like, call me back when you're free. But all this that you got going on, I'm not here for it. So everybody's looking at Robyn. She just is so pleased with herself because she really feels like she got Wendy with that one. I said, Robyn, you are the true definition of the joke's on you. Like, you really look like an idiot doing that, and the joke fell flat. I said, you sitting up here trying to shade Wendy. Meanwhile, Juan has no idea why you're saying what you're saying. And he's like, okay, girl, I'll talk to you later. So now Robyn looks directly at Wendy and she's like, so Wendy, do you plan on ignoring me like you're ignoring Giselle? And Wendy says, that's a great question. So here's where I was confused. Wendy goes on to say, I'm not going to ignore you, and I want to apologize if I offended you in the course of our conversation. So Robyn's like, what? You want to apologize? Like, do you remember what you said to me? You were taking personal jabs. So my whole thing was, Wendy, why are you apologizing to Robyn? Did she apologize to you for making you cry and feel bad about how, you're showing too much skin and you're loose and all that? Like, I don't understand why you're apologizing to her. So Robyn goes on to say, because last year at my engagement party, you were jumping up and down and then you turned on me that quick. So it shows that all your excitement for me was fake. I said, girl, if you don't stop with all these dramatics, like, Robyn, you claim to be so unbothered. Why do you keep harping on that? I said she must have brought up that engagement party about 5 million times in this episode. So Wendy says, I hear what you're saying. You're entitled to your own opinion. I'm not going to argue with you about it. But what I feel is that how you treated me over this past week, that's fake. Because friends don't tear other friends down. Then Wendy goes on to say, Robyn, you know how hard motherhood is. And I thought that you of all people would be clapping and cheering for me the hardest. So Robyn's like, look, all I said was I've noticed there's a change in you. That's it. I hope all is well. So Wendy's like, again, I apologize. It wasn't my intention for you to feel some way. So Robyn's like, everything out of her mouth is BS. I don't buy this apology one bit. And it's like, okay, Robyn, don't accept the apology then. Who really cares? All the nasty things that you've done and said to people over the seasons, but now you want to hold a grudge because Wendy snapped on you because you've been treating her poorly. Got it. So now Mia, because she's just desperate for any sort of camera time, she interjects and says, well, now that that's all out the way, let's talk about the real issue between you and Giselle. So Wendy looks at Giselle and says, well, it's come to my attention that you called me a weak bitch after I left the house last night. So Giselle's like, who said that? And everybody else is like, wait, what? What was said? So Mia says, well, that's what I thought I heard. I had interpreted it as you saying a weak bitch. So Giselle is like, Mia, stop. Here's what we're not going to do. We're not going to add some extra stank on it because that's not what I said. So Wendy looks at Giselle and she's like, I just want to make this clear. Whether you apologize to me or not, I'm good. And having my husband's last name and being in a committed relationship is vindication enough. I said, now, Wendy, I love you to death, but be careful with being so sure that your man would never cheat on you, because we've seen it time and time again where these women said, my husband would never cheat on me, and then we find out the next season or the season after that he indeed was cheating, and they're now filing for divorce. I don't think that Eddie's a cheater, but you never know. I remember in the earlier seasons of New York where Ramona would love to showboat and brag about her marriage and how Mario was just the end-all be-all when it came to men. And I remember her even saying, you wish you had a man like Mario. That's why you're single, to several of the ladies on the franchise. And then season 7, she was sitting up there crying because Mario not only embarrassed her, but he embarrassed her badly. Giselle is like, okay, girl, like whatever, cool, whatever you say, that's fine. And I will say this, I understand that Wendy is pissed off. She has every right to be. I was here for her going ham on Giselle and Robyn last week's episode. But I will say this. The reads towards Giselle just get a little bit lazy, in my opinion. You know, to always talk about, well, you know, you don't have a man and I have his last name and I'm in a committed relationship. It's like, let's find something else to read Giselle on. Just my 2 cents. And you could tell that Wendy really thought that she was cutting deep when she said that. And I was laughing because Karen was here for it. She was like, that's right, Wendy. Go, Wendy. Like, congratulations, Wendy. Like, you said that. Wendy is an inspiration to us. And Giselle was like, okay, Karen, like, shut up. The episode ends with Giselle saying, whenever Wendy is ready, I'm ready. Y'all, this was a solid episode. That mid-season trailer, though, can we talk about it quickly? Because that gave me everything that I needed and more. The rest of this season is about to be off the charts, and I cannot wait. Especially because it seems like some stuff is about to go down between Chris Bassett and Michael Darby at Karen and Ray's vow renewal. I said, okay, I'm here for the craziness. So y'all, thank you guys again for watching my recap. I hope you all enjoyed. And as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all later. Bye.